May mga advance na nakapaglaro ng Throne and Liberty. Sila yung mga gumastos ng early access. So ito yung mga early access, may mga presyo yan. Hindi ko na makita ngayon. So ngayon makikita natin yung reaction ng mga unang player, bagong unang player, I mean hindi pa nakakapaglaro ng Throne and Liberty dati, tapos tinry nila yung early access. So makikita natin dito sa video na to kung nagustuhan niya ba, ano yung mga naging problema niya, and ano yung mga hindi niya nagustuhan dun sa laro.
When it comes out and it's free to play, there is honestly no reason to not try it. So far, I am 10 hours into Throne and Liberty, and you guys are asking, so how is it? How's the game? How am I liking it so far? So as someone who is not a veteran in this title before it's released, has not played Korea, the only thing I have is a first impression after about 10 hours of playing this game. So bear in mind, I am not able to give a detailed perspective into endgame, but what I can give you are my first impressions as someone who's had a lot of time invested into other MMOs, and so far this is what I've enjoyed. These are some things that I have not, and more will unfold as I continue to play. So far starting out, this is in no particular order, but this is what I have. One thing that I enjoyed coming into this game was I really enjoyed how in-depth the character creation was. It was simple, it was really easy to follow through, it was really clean.
Ganda ng character creation ng Throne Liberty. Appearance setting, change body type, designer. So, hindi ko pa to nakikita kasi hindi pa talaga ako naglalaro ng Throne Liberty. Kahit yung nila, yung beta nila, hindi ko nalaro.
I really enjoy that when you do zoom in on characters and other characters around you, you actually can see those details. And some of those details actually can matter if you want to show off your character's look and things of that nature. The server stability on the early release has actually been surprisingly good. I anticipated going
daming
into
player, no? Pucha, ang ganda pre, ang daming player pre.
System, I anticipated.
Ngayon, ang natin dyan, boss, marami kasing player kasi pa lang siya, boss, kumbaga may hype pa eh. Ngayon, malalaman natin yan if sa mga susunod na linggo, kung talaga bang sustainable yung ganito pang laro. I mean, kung kaya pang laruin ng mga tao, yung mga game na walang auto. West, mataas yung chance sa kaya nila. East, yun ang kailangan natin pag-usapan dyan.
Servers crashing a lot. And to my surprise, I have noticed nearly almost none of that. It has been incredibly smooth, easy to get into. There's been a few crashes here and there, but I'll get into that as I get into some of the cons, and I'll explain some of those things that I've gone through. Hello guys, I'm wrapping up my day one of Throne and Liberty. Thank you for tuning in. So far, there are lots of cutscenes, lots of quests, and a lot of players all running around
Itong
like
mahirap
rabid
dito,
dogs.
pre, no? Hindi mo alam talaga kung saan yung yung NPC. Kumbaga, manual mo siyang hahanapin, pre. So dagdag trabaho talaga siya as player.
The graphics in the game overall are actually stunning. It's really beautiful. The
Maganda nga
combat
yung graphics
are really, really great looking. It's not too much in my opinion. It doesn't feel like an overload of graphics, but I do think the game is beautiful in its own way. The combat itself is tab target, but it's actually surprisingly faster paced than I had hoped, and I really think that the tab target combat system is actually really, really well done in this game. And so far, I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far. As someone who has been very used to Black Desert combat, traditional fighting style game combat systems, so this tab target system has actually been really, really good so far. And that's just my opinion, what I have enjoyed so far. There is group content available in the earlier stages of the game, and there are earlier game dungeons to also go do, and it's encouraged for you to go do as you continue to progress with your character and your character's gear. I've really enjoyed.
Pero alam niyo yung naririnig natin dito sa mga gumagawa ng video, as in mga shorts, reels. Sabi nila just another MMO lang daw na walang bago sa walang bago sa fighting style, so gano pa rin talaga.
Very early on, and it's going to continue to push you into that group content as you progress later into the game, as I've read, as I've seen, and as I've also heard from my other veteran content creator friends that have also covered this title and are covering this title. The progression in the content and the game itself has been very digestible so far, very easy to understand, especially if you're very familiar with gear progression style systems. The enhancing system in this game is very forgiving. It's easy to grind.
Hindi tayo sanay sa ganito, so maraming Pinoy ang mag-i-struggle dito. So iilan lang dito yung talagang kabisado yung gagawin, and kailangan talaga nilang tulungan yung magiging community nila. If ever na talagang sasagad sila dito sa may Throne and Liberty.
For materials that you need for these earlier
dami mo pwedeng gawin dito, ang dami pwedeng mangyari, ang dami pwedeng mali.
It has been very digestible, very easy to understand, very manageable, and it hasn't felt too overwhelming, but at the same time it has delivered its own form of challenge, if you will. So overall, the progression system and the enhancing system I've actually quite enjoyed so far. The party matchmaking system in order to go do this group content and dungeon style content has been very quick. It's been very digestible. Been very easy to get groups together, especially on day one launch. I'm not surprised that parties are very easy to fill, but you can fill them with roles
Day 1 marami talagang player ng day 1.
Do and play as. So it's very easy to assign, find these roles and fill parties appropriately. But bear in mind, if you're going to use the party matchmaking system and queue up with randoms, randoms are as good as randoms can be. So that is hit or miss, and I've had both hit and I've had miss. And I'll talk about some of the cons in the con section as well. The PvP surprisingly is a lot of fun so far, though I've only experienced a small amount of it. But through some of the crawls I've done and through some of the content that I've gone through, we've found ourselves in a few fights, and it's just been really good. It's been easy to digest once again. It's been easy to understand, but the pace of it has been tremendously enjoyable so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that later combat in the later game is going to be. I have not experienced any of the war content, any of the siege content, but we have had some open PvP instances as well. So far, I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing. I'm not surprised that the community has been a blast
maganda talaga PvP
so far, based on the fact that a lot of content that you're doing is encouraging you to also play alongside with people when you're jumping into these dungeons and things of that nature.
Ang tanong dyan, boss, pag-release kasi niyan, sabi kasi nila, may announcement dito na umabot ng 1.4 yung current players. So ngayon, boss, ang current players ngayon ni Throne and Liberty after 24 hours is sa Steam lang to, sa Steam lang to. So hindi pa kasama yung PS5 and other platform. So current players right now is 41,000. So malalaman natin yan kung tataas pa ba yan. Tingin ko tataas to sa release, tapos magkakaroon ulit ng correction after ng release sa global sa October 1. So malalaman natin yan. Pero ngayon, current player ngayon is 41,000. So medyo malaki yan, boss. Malaki yan para sa PC game.
It's encouraged to play with community members in your guild, and I've really been enjoying that experience as well so far. Usually in these MMOs, you're doing a lot of running around, talking to this person, running to this side of the map, talking to another person. Questing is the best XP to get early on, and this game absolutely has that. But there's a lot of things that so far I've been allowed to trail off and do and explore on my own terms and jump right back in to pick up right where I've left off. So far that experience has just been expected, but you can read the dialogue. The story has been delivered in actually a pretty good way, but I find myself also skipping through some of it as well. I do enjoy the voice acting. I think the cutscenes in the game so far are pretty fantastic. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see how it continues to go as we progress along. A lot of things that I've found to do in the early game I've been quite fond of, and everything that has been thrown my way in terms of new mechanics, gear progression, everything, as I mentioned, it's been very, very digestible. One of my favorite things so far in the game is the fact that there are no loading screens. When I teleport from one side of the map and go to another side, there are no loading screens. It is instant when I
walang loading screen dito sa nilalaro ko ngayon sa nightcrows.
Go into a city. It is instant when I go back to a travel point, when I recall home. When I load into a dungeon, it is instant. I have had little to no loading screens, and I've been quite a fan of that so far. Let me show you. You go here, you open map, I go to other side of the world, I check this, I teleport, cooldown happens, and then I go, Q, zip, now I'm in the other town. That
baka yun yung pinaka-loading
loading
screen.
time. It seems that PvP is encouraged in a lot of instances, but it's also optional in some places. So I know that some people are going to be hesitant about that, but you don't need to feel the need to jump into it. But PvP in the later game seems to be a much bigger focus as well as some of the dungeon and raid content as well. So I like knowing that there are some of those options. But again, this is just what I'm noticing. And again, this is a first-hand impression. So don't take all of my words and dialogue as factual. This is just my impression based on what I am seeing. And as I mentioned, the dungeon content and the raid content so far, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what those harder dungeons are going to be like. I really enjoy that there's actually proper class identity in this game. You have DPS classes in a variety of styles. You have semi-healers, full healers, tank builds, tanks with healing as well. There are a wide variety of weapon combinations and things that can give you true class identity. I'm a huge fan of that stuff, and I'm really glad to see that this is fully embraced in this title. So overall, I would have to say that this has honestly been a breath of fresh air so far in the MMO genre. I'm having a lot of fun. But
so parang
where there
bago
are the
talaga
goods,
siya, no?
there are also the bads, and I want to talk about some of the cons that I have noticed in my first impression. So again, take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. Loading into the game firsthand, I do expect there to be crashes.
Pag hindi mo alam yung laro, parang nakakatakot laruin. Pero sa totoo lang, boss, if mga laro natin 'to ng mga, siguro mga 4 hours, tingin ko naman medyo makakaano na tayo, makakasabay tayo dito. Pero sa ganito, boss, parang medyo nakakatakot pa siyang laruin kasi hindi natin alam kung anong meron sa laro, eh. Kaya parang ang hirap pa makipagsabayan.
Bugs, you know, the game just released. There's going to be a lot of kinks to kind of work out. The anti-cheat system or software in this game sometimes does make it a bit hard to play. There's been a lot of crashing from my side and having a hard time loading in,
Yun
having
lang.
to restart my computer because the
Steam
anti-cheat is
din siya,
giving me
oh.
issues. If you
So tingin ko talaga Steam ang pinakamarami. Feeling ko ang concurrent player niya ngayon is mga nasa 80 to 90K total. Yung current na naglalaro ng game ngayon. Kasi kita mo naman majority ng streamer talaga sa Steam naglalaro and 41,000. Tingin ko another 40,000 galing do sa ibang platform. So tingin ko around 80,000 yung naglalaro ngayon. Napakalaki nun, boss. Para sa global na release lang, hindi pa kasama yung hindi pa kasama doon yung global
haven't
release.
been dealing
Early
with that
access
at
pa
all,
lang yan.
and lucky you, I know a lot of us also have. So I really hope that some of those things get kinked out. There's been times where it's taken like 10 to 20 minutes to get back into the game because the anti-cheat is
tagal
just
nun,
doing weird stuff. I do expect though these kind of things to happen. It is kind of common for these things to have happened, especially on newer MMO releases. Like I said, I expected there to be queue times. I expected there to be server stability issues. I'm really happy that there hasn't been. So I'm not surprised that the anti-cheat and, you know, little smaller issues playing the game is kind of occurring earlier
Crash na
on.
naman,
And I do hope that smoothens out a bit. The one thing that I do like and don't like, I do love seeing how populated a new game is. I love seeing that these cities are overly populated with people. But at the same time,
Dami,
if your computer is not that good, this also
Yun lang. Pag hindi maganda ang computer mo dito, medyo aangal talaga yan.
you may have a hard time
Tapos
with how
mag-i-stream pa
populated
ako.
that these servers may be. So with that being said, I have found that just kind of lowering my graphics has helped out quite a bit. It's helped me with frame stability. It may also help you as well. The thing that I like with the dungeons is, you know, again, you can quickly matchmake and queue up with people. But again, a
Ako rin eh.
con that I don't really
Multi-stream pa
care
naman
for
ako
is
lagi.
the matchmaking system as well, because it sucks relying on randoms, and that can actually be detrimental to the group because there are small mechanics to follow and it is simple. And sometimes you just queue up with players that just don't listen, don't read chat. Even if you stand in front of them and give them the obvious instructions, some people just don't follow it. So again, even those simple mechanics become harder to understand when people aren't paying attention. I would just recommend joining a guild, trying to jump in voice chat with people, and I would not rely on randoms, or if you are, I would only rely on them for so long before I'm resetting and trying to go do this with other people. So that's one thing that I just haven't really enjoyed too much, but that's a me problem. Now, the big one too is I'm really unsure what the longevity of this game will honestly be like.
Eto na.
It's fun for now, but with
Ayan na,
how
pre.
other MMOs with time gated content has been, I do fear that the lifetime of this title may be short, but I'd also hope that that's not the scenario.
Ako rin eh.
I'm gonna have fun in the meantime while it lasts, obviously, and I encourage people to do the same because it's a really fun title so far. I've actually been really pleasantly surprised. I was
Yun nga eh, ang alam ko dito talaga, boss, if recommend play mo lang talaga sa kanya is around 3 hours lang talaga, boss. So, yun nga rin sinasabi niya. Possible hindi rin siya maging okay. Alam ko ganito rin ang naging issue sa Island eh. Kumbaga, hindi mo siya pwedeng laruin talaga ng babaran. So, ang MMO naman talaga, boss, kahit dati pa nilalaro talaga ng pangmatagalan yan eh. Pero ngayon, pinadali lang nila yung paglalaro ng matagalan dahil may auto. Kaso ito kasi walang auto.
wasn't gonna play this
Pero
game
hindi
either,
masamang
but
bagay yun kasi depende naman talaga sa mga player yun eh. Kung gusto talaga ng mga player na walang auto, ito the best to pre sa ngayon. Ito talaga. Pwede naman kayo bumalik sa World of Warcraft, pero ito yung bago.
one of my viewers had gifted me the game, and some people have mentioned that the roadmap does seem promising. We're gonna have to see what the delivery of content is. So I am hoping for the best. I'm kind of expecting the worst, but nonetheless, I'm here for a good time. I'm gonna play this and enjoy this while I can. But overall, my first impression so far, after just playing this for 10 hours so far, I would so far recommend this game. Now again, take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. But so far, for my taste, I'm pleasantly surprised with how good this has been so far, how smooth it has been so far. And I do think that anyone who is looking to jump into a new MMO title and has their eyes on Throne and Liberty, I think you will have fun. So definitely consider giving it a go. I'm still not deeply experienced in this title enough to give it a veteran perspective and opinion, so don't take this as concrete, super gathered opinion. Again, this is just my first impression, what I've noticed and what I've taken notes on. So I'm enjoying it myself. I do think you will too. I do think it's worth potentially picking it up if you're interested in getting into the early access. If not, on October 1st when it comes out and it's free to play, there is honestly no reason to not try it. So I encourage you, if you don't want to
Yun nga
spend
yung sinasabi ko, free to play siya. So kung may PC naman kayo, meron kayong extra time, try nyo boss, baka dito kayo mag-enjoy. So wag nyo nga harangin yung sarili nyo na ay ayoko maglaro niyan kasi walang auto. Ayoko maglaro niyan kasi walang play to earn. I-try nyo lang boss, baka magustuhan nyo kasi yung laro. Yun lang naman eh.
money in this game, just wait till October 1st rolls around, play it for free, check it out, see if it's for you, and if it is, enjoy. That so far is my gathered opinion and first impression of this title. I hope it's been helpful for you guys who are considering trying this out and looking into this game as well. And I'll continue to post updates of my experience and what it's like as I continue to trek along. Until then, if you guys enjoy this, if you enjoyed a little bit of the feedback, then leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the section down below. I am streaming this game and I will be streaming this game pretty actively. So if you're interested in checking my stream out, I'll have links for that in the description down below as well. As far as it goes, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and have fun on your next adventures.
So maganda siya, ang tingin ko maganda yung niya, maganda yung graphics. Yun nga lang talaga boss. Kung sanay ka naman maki-community sa ibang lahi, ito okay na okay sa inyo to boss. Ngayon, kung medyo nahihiya kayo, ayaw nyo maki-community sa ibang lahi, medyo yun yung kailangan nyo i-consider. Kasi number one boss, hindi talaga pang Pinoy to pare. Bibihira, iilang percent lang ng mga Pilipino ang laging nakatutok sa computer. Madalas pa nun, yung nakatutok sa computer, nagwo-work sa IT industry or work from home or support ganyan. Hindi dahil naglalaro. So kapag naglaro kasi nito, kasi since wala ngang auto, so kailangan, pag nakatutok ka dito, hindi ka talaga nagtatrabaho, hindi ka nagagawa ng kung ano man, hindi ka nagpo-program, hindi ka nagte-test, hindi ka nagde-dev ng kahit ano. So doon mo lang siya malalaro talaga ng matibasay. So sana talaga, alam ko kasi nung una boss, eto talagang Throne Liberty, meron siyang meron siyang auto, hindi ko lang alam kung gaano yung yung mga kailangan mong i-auto, pero narinig ko lang dati na may auto to. So sana hindi nila tinanggal yun. Pero malalaman natin, ang nag-request ng magpatanggal ng auto niyan mga taga-West eh. Titingnan natin kung hanggang saan nila paninindigan na walang auto yung laro kung kaya nila. So yun lang.